Look at this stunning difference from lackluster to luscious. I'll be showing you in this video how to get this natural treatment which works so wonder for me, and hopefully it will work wonder for you too. So just stick around as I'll be guiding you step by step process how to get this luscious looking hair in just one wash. For this butter making you would need a pan. Now which pan you have to choose, that's very important. If you are someone who have gray hairs and you want to cover your gray hairs and want your natural pigment to be back, I would advise you to use an iron pan. Otherwise, you can use a steel pan too. Now, I'll be adding coconut oil. You can use any oil of your choice. But coconut oil I have chosen because it not only moisturizes the hair but also soothes the scalp. And this is the oil which everyone have it usually at home. And it's easily available also. So that's why I have chosen coconut oil here. If you have low porosity hair, you can use almond oil or argan oil too. If you are a person who doesn't like to apply oil, this butter would be beneficial for you and it will give you the same effect as the oil gives you. I have added around half a cup of coconut oil here. If you want to make the quantity less, then you can use the less coconut oil, but the ratio of the other ingredients should be same as I'll be telling you. If you're someone who oil their hair bi-weekly or at least 3 times a week, I would advise you to skip oil one day and use this butter. This butter will give you the same exact effect as the oil gives you. So you can skip the oiling once a week and apply it other 2 days a week. Now I'll be adding here aloe vera leaves. This is just the green part and just a bit of the pulp which was left from the last remedy. If you haven't seen that video, I would highly advise you to see that video after this video completion. I'll be sharing the link in the description box. That's a very good remedy and you should definitely try this. So I have added all the leaves in it and any pulp which was left from the previous remedy. If you are the person who doesn't want to make the previous remedy and just want to make the aloe vera butter, I can advise you to use the whole aloe vera, cut it into half pieces, cut the edges first and then wash it and then cut into small pieces and add in this oil as it is. Now let's keep it on the stove on a really slow flame or sim. We don't have to put it on the high flame as the high flame will cause the ingredient to be burnt, which we don't want it. As you can notice here that the coconut oil hasn't started melting yet. Because it is coconut oil, you can see the difference. But in case if you have taken olive oil, argan oil, jojoba oil or any other oil which is already in a liquid form, then you might not see the difference. You just have to make sure that you cook it on a very slow flame or sim it only. People who have very thin hair and want their hair to get thickened and want their baby hair growth to get longer, I would advise you to add here some more ingredients, but it's up to your discretion. The first ingredient would be here the fenugreek seeds. For this much oil, you can add around 2 tablespoons of fenugreek seeds or fenugreek seeds powder also you can add it. Now notice here that the oil has been starting to melting and you can see that the oil is all in the liquid form now and there are no bubbles at all, which means that the flame is still slow and sim. I will not raise the flame at all throughout the remedy. You have to do the same with that. If any one of you have severe hair fall and want your bald patches to be covered with the hair, want the new baby hair growth, I would advise you to add rosemary leaves here. You can add either fresh rosemary leaves or dried rosemary leaves. Whatever ingredients I'm telling you, I have shared the link below. So you can add the pure and organic ingredients which I am using for my hair and for my regimens. People usually ask if they have itchiness or allergy from the aloe vera, especially the plant-based aloe vera, how to use it. I will give you a pro tip here. If you are not comfortable using the aloe vera, use the way I am telling you. Just take an aloe vera, keep it standing for some time. All the yellowish part, the liquid part should come out. Then rinse it with the water. Cut the edges on the side and cut the aloe vera into small pieces. Soak that pieces overnight or at least for 5 to 6 hours in the cold water and then throw that water out and use that aloe vera. If you use it this way, you will definitely get beneficial effect and no itching, no allergy at all. But then again, if you are not comfortable, I would advise you to do the patch test before. Now as we can see the bubbles here, it means that the oil is starting to be infused but the flame is still on the low and sim only. If you have high porosity hair, I would advise you to use mustard oil or sesame oil instead of coconut oil, or you can add 2 oils together also. Or if you have low porosity hair, I would advise you to use argan oil and almond oil, and you can add coconut oil along with it. Now here comes the main ingredient, which is the shea butter. Shea butter not only moisturizes your hair but also gives your hair a beautiful shine and protects your cuticle and prevents your hair from breakage. Whatever company I have used, I have shared the link, but if you want you can use any company, but just you have to be comfortable with it and it should suit you and your hair scalp also. How much butter we have to take, that's very important. Whatever your quantity of base oil would be, you will almost take the same amount of shea butter. In my case it was 1 cup of coconut oil, I will take the same amount of shea butter in it. As the shea butter is in semi-solid form, you cannot measure it in the liquid form directly. So I'll tell you a trick. For 1 cup of coconut oil, you can take around 3 to 4 tablespoons of shea butter, and then you don't have to melt it separately like other remedies. Just add the same shea butter as it is into the oil which was on the flame. In that case, not only the shea butter will be melted, but it will also release all its potency and beautiful ingredients into that oil, and that's all we want. I'll be adding this shea butter slowly into that oil and let it melt. Let it simmer for some time. You can use a spoon to stir it, but it will melt anyways. If you haven't used shea butter in your remedies ever, I would highly advise you to do so. Shea butter can be used by any hair porosity type, any hair type. Especially if you have dry, damaged, dull hair, I would advise you to use shea butter at least a week or at least once and every 10 days and see the visible difference in your hair by yourself. This remedy will not be in the form of oil, it will be in the butter in the end. I will show you. Stay with me and see the complete video till the end. If you are new to this channel, please subscribe to my channel, and if you like this video till now, please give it a thumbs up. Just make sure that you will add shea butter only when the oil starts to boil and show the bubbles. After adding shea butter, just let it simmer for around 10 to 15 minutes. You will see that the color has been changed and the color of the aloe vera itself, the leaf, started getting brown from the edges. It means that it has been done. Now what you have to do, you just have to close the stove and strain it as it is when it is hot. Don't wait for it to get cold or come into the room temperature, otherwise it will be hard for you to strain then. For straining purposes, always make sure to take a heat resistance bowl. In this case, I am taking a steel bowl, which is very convenient for me per se. If you are straining, you will see a very frothy appearance of this, but as soon as it gets colder and on room temperature, it will start becoming liquid and in an oily form. If you want, you can let it cool down on the room temperature and apply this as an oil also on your hair, but the way I am telling you would gives you nourishment and moisturization effect on your hair and scalp also. Next step would be to cover it with a plastic sheet or a lid. Covering is important as we will be putting this in the refrigerator for some time. Depends on the power of your refrigerator. You can keep it in the refrigerator for around 2 hours, 3 hours. I have kept it for around 2 hours, and then you can see how this is formed. You want to have the same consistency like this is. If you want, you can keep it for longer time also. Now I'll be adding an oil in it. As I have used the coconut oil before, I will be adding almond oil here. If you have used almond oil before, you can add any other oil like argan oil or mustard oil, whatever oil suits you. We are adding the oil so it will be grinded and chopped very nicely and smoothly. You can use the hand chopper like I'm using here, or you can grind it in the grinder also. You can appreciate the beautiful buttery texture of this remedy, how beautiful it looks, and trust me, if you touch it, it's so soft. And just imagine if it will be applied to your hair, how beautiful and soft your hair would be. Just transfer it into a glass bowl. The glass bowl is necessary so you can store it also. If you just make it in the small quantity, you can as it is, you don't have to store it. But just in case if you have into a large quantity and you want to use it for 2 days twice a week, or you want to use it or keep it for some other day, you have to store it in the glass container only. People who have very damaged and dry hair, I would advise you to apply it at least once a week, and people who just want to use it as a maintenance and their hair are not as dried or as damaged, they can use it once every 10 days or 15 days. I have applied it on the hand just to show you how beautiful shine it gives on the hand. Just imagine it will be applied to your hair. Obviously, I'll be showing you how to apply it on the hair too, but just to show you the shine, I have put it on my hand. To apply it, you have to make sure that you have partitioned your hair, and always use the toner before the application of any hair butter or any mask. It will cause not your hair to be preventing from the breakage, but also gives you extra shine and extra smoothness. So that's why it's always important to make sure to use the toner. I have used the toner which I have told you in the previous remedy. Again, the link is in the description. Now you have to take this butter in your hand and apply it generously on your hair and scalp. Initially, this butter would look like this, like a mask consistency, but as soon as the time passes, it will melt into the oil. So make sure you apply in a generous amount, and you have to cover all your scalp, your hair length, and your tips also. Tips are very important as the tips of your hair are the oldest hair and they require more nourishment than your scalp. Once you have applied a good amount on your scalp and hair and your tips, you just have to bend your hair like this, just lightly. Don't make it too tight, otherwise it will cause traction alopecia from your temple area. Just make it loose bun, and then you have to cover it with a shower cap. We are covering this with a shower cap because of two reasons. The first reason would be that it will give a little heat to your hair, which will cause all the remedy to penetrate your hair follicles in a much better way. And the second reason is, as soon as the butter starts melting, it becomes into an oily form. You can see on my scalp, and to prevent this butter or the oil to spill all over my head, I will cover it with the shower cap. Keep this butter on your hair for at least 40 minutes. You can increase the time up to 1 or 2 hours too, depends on how damaged your hair is. And then you have to wash your hair. Wash your hair with the plain water, and then you have to wash it with this shampoo. But if you want your hair to grow with a double speed, you should apply the other remedies which I have already told you. The link is here. Just go and watch. I'll see you in that video. Till then, bye bye.